What the first letter of your name means will surprise you. Buddhist teachings. Have you ever stopped to wonder why your name begins the way it does? Not just the sound, not just the spelling, but the very first letter, that silent guardian of identity that follows you wherever you go. According to Buddhist wisdom, there are no accidents. Even something as seemingly mundane as the first letter of your name may carry within it a vibration, a karmic imprint, revealing who you are and who you're becoming. You see, in Buddhism, everything has meaning. Your name is not a random label. It's a thread in the great fabric of your existence, stitched with intention, echoing your soul's journey across lifetimes. Maybe you've felt it before. That your life moves in strange patterns. That certain challenges follow you again and again. That some parts of you are hard to explain, even to yourself. What if your name held part of the answer? In this video, I invite you to look deeper, to see your name not as something given, but as something revealed, to discover the energy behind the first letter, its vibration, its purpose, its lesson. Stay with me until the end, because once you see what your name is really saying, you may never hear it the same way again. Your name is not just a name. It's a vibration. In Buddhism, we are taught that nothing is truly random. Not the family you were born into, not the struggles you face, and certainly not your name. Names are not just identifiers. They are not simply how people call us across a crowded room or how they spell us into existence on legal documents. They are vibrations, living energies, that echo far deeper than sound, especially the first letter. Think of it like this. The initial of your name is like the tone that starts a symphony. It sets the rhythm of how you move through life, how you see the world, and how the world responds to you. You may have never questioned it. But what if that one letter, just one, was chosen not by chance, but by cosmic design? According to Buddhist teachings, the beginning of your name carries a unique energetic imprint. It reflects your internal state, your natural inclinations, your strengths, your karmic lessons, and at the same time, acts as a mirror for how life meets you in return. This is not just mysticism. It's a call to deeper self-awareness. Because every vibration, every sound, interacts with the universe in its own way. And the sound that begins your name? It could be a portal, a key that unlocks long-forgotten aspects of your purpose, your emotional tendencies, your spiritual gifts. It's not an accident. It's a language your soul chose before you even arrived here. So when you look at the first letter of your name, you're not just seeing ink on paper. You're touching the surface of something sacred. And that's where our journey begins. In the next part, we'll explore what these letters actually mean, how they align with specific traits, spiritual challenges, and even your deeper mission in this lifetime. Stay with me, because the energy behind that one letter might change the way you see yourself forever. R, the river that never rests. If your name begins with the letter R, you carry the energy of motion. Restless, relentless, alive. You're like a river that never stops flowing. Sometimes calm, sometimes crashing, but always moving forward. People with this initial are often driven by an internal fire, a need for change, growth, and transformation. You may find it hard to stay still. You crave momentum, the next chapter, the next version of yourself. And that's not a flaw. It's your essence. In personality, R signals determination. You're ambitious, creative, and filled with a kind of raw power that others find both inspiring and a little overwhelming. You don't just dream, you pursue. You don't just hope, you act. But this powerful current inside you can also become turbulent. Because when life slows down, when things don't go as planned, you might feel like you're drowning in stillness. You hold yourself to high standards, and that inner critic, it's often louder than any outside voice. Here's the truth though, you are not broken. You are simply learning one of the hardest lessons of all. To trust the flow. To surrender to what is, not just chase what could be. In Buddhist wisdom, R is tied to the energy of balance and non-resistance. Just as a river eventually carves canyons through rock, not through force, but through patience, you too are called to learn that surrender is not weakness. It is wisdom. Your spiritual journey is not about controlling every twist and turn. It's about flowing with the river of life, not against it. So if your name starts with R, ask yourself, can you pause without guilt? Can you breathe even when nothing is moving? Can you find peace in the in-between? Because when you do, that's when your real power begins to shine, not in the rush, but in the stillness between the waves. S, the silent seeker of truth. If your name begins with the letter S, there's a quiet strength inside you. Not the kind that demands attention, but the kind that listens, waits, and knows. You walk through life as an observer, not just a participant. You feel things others miss. You sense the shift in energy before anyone says a word. And often, you carry truths within you that even you struggle to name. People with this vibration are introspective, thoughtful, and deeply intuitive. You ask questions others avoid. You dive beneath the surface. You are the seeker. But seeking can feel lonely. You may prefer silence over small talk, solitude over chaos. You hold your emotions like sacred artifacts, protecting them from a world that doesn't always understand your depth. But that's also your gift. In Buddhist teachings, the letter S resonates with karma and serenity. You are deeply aware that actions have consequences, not just in the outer world, but in your own inner landscape. Every thought, every intention matters. You feel that. And that sense of inner responsibility makes you both wise and weary. Your challenge: to balance your inner world with the outer one. To come out of hiding. To share your insight, not as a burden, but as a light. Because even the Buddha, in his deepest meditations, returned to speak. Even wisdom must breathe. Your silence is sacred, but your voice can be healing. If your name starts with S, ask yourself, can you trust others with your truth? Can you let your wisdom be seen, even if it feels vulnerable? Can you allow yourself to receive, not just give? Because your gift isn't just perception. It's the ability to bring stillness to a noisy world. To remind people of the beauty of depth, of slowness, of listening. And that begins when you listen to yourself, too. The flame that lights the way. If your name begins with the letter A, you were born to begin. You are the spark, the pioneer, the one who feels an inner push to step forward, even when no path is clearly marked. You carry a fire inside, a drive that rarely sleeps. And whether you realize it or not, people often look to you for direction. In Buddhist symbolism, A vibrates with the energy of beginnings, but not just any beginning. This is the beginning that comes with courage, with leadership, with the kind of boldness that says, if no one else will do it, I will. People with this letter are often independent and self-assured. You see possibilities before others do. You feel the pull of vision, of progress, of creating something from nothing. And yet, that same strength can become your sharpest edge. Because when you carry the energy of leadership, you often carry the weight of expectation. You may resist help, feel frustrated when others don't get it, or burn out from trying to do it all yourself. Spiritually, the letter A is connected to purpose and rebirth. In Buddhist teachings, fire is both destruction and purification, and your path often involves burning away the false, so that only what's true remains. Your challenge: to lead not from ego, but from service, to let your passion be guided by wisdom, to build not only with vision, but with presence. So if your name starts with A, ask yourself, are you creating from clarity, or from the need to prove something? Do you trust that your worth isn't tied to constant doing? Can you allow stillness to refine your fire? Because the world doesn't just need more leaders. It needs leaders who lead from love. And you, dear A, you carry that potential in every step you take. T, the bridge between worlds. If your name begins with the letter T, you are the steady hands in a world that trembles. Your energy is grounded, balanced, and quietly strong, like a bridge between chaos and calm. While others may be swept away by emotions or confusion, you have an innate gift. You bring order. You bring peace. You bring direction. In relationships, at work, and even in crisis, people turn to you. Not because you're loud, but because you're solid. You often put others first, not out of obligation, but out of deep devotion. Your loyalty runs like a deep river beneath your calm demeanor. But even rivers can run dry. You see, the very strength you offer the world can become a weight you quietly carry. You might say yes too often. You might stay too long in places that no longer nourish you. And in the name of duty, you may forget your own needs until it's too late. In Buddhist teachings, the letter T is aligned with the path of Dharma, living with integrity, compassion, and service. You are a builder of harmony, a quiet architect of safety. But Dharma also teaches that true service begins within. Compassion is not a sacrifice, the Buddha reminds us. It is a balance between giving and remembering who we are. Your challenge is not to give less, but to give with awareness. To know when to rest, when to receive, and when to say, this is enough. So if your name starts with T, ask yourself, are you building bridges for others while burning your own? Can you learn to serve without surrendering your soul? Can you love without losing yourself? Because your presence is a blessing. But your boundaries, they are sacred too. When you find that balance, you become more than a helper. You become a living example of the Dharma itself, strong, gentle, and unshakably whole. M, the ground beneath our feet. If your name begins with the letter M, you are the one people turn to when life falls apart. You offer comfort not with words, but with presence. You carry an energy that feels like home, steady, grounded, protective. In Buddhism, the earth is a sacred element. It represents patience, resilience, and unconditional support. And M vibrates with that exact same frequency. You are the foundation others stand on. People with this letter are often loyal, nurturing, and dependable. You value stability, not because you fear change, but because you believe that roots matter. You are the quiet builder behind every strong family, every lasting friendship. But your strength, like all strengths, carries a shadow. You tend to take on too much. You try to fix, hold, and carry everyone, sometimes at the expense of your own well-being. You may believe that love means never letting go, even when your hands are trembling from the weight. And here lies your greatest lesson. In Buddhism, M is associated with the inner journey toward emotional balance. You are here to learn that true support does not mean control. It means trusting others to rise, just as you have. The Buddha taught, let go of the illusion of control, and peace will find you. Your compassion is your gift, but so is your freedom. And you are allowed, yes, allowed, to rest. So if your name begins with M, ask yourself, are you holding on to everything because you're afraid of what will happen if you let go? Do you believe you're only valuable when you're strong? Can you accept that sometimes the most loving thing is to step back? Because your true power is not just in what you hold. It's in your ability to know when to release, and trust the earth to hold you too. E. The wind that seeks the sky. If your name begins with the letter E, your spirit was born to explore. You move like the wind, curious, energetic, and impossible to pin down. You are the question in a world full of answers. The spark in a room full of stillness. The story that hasn't been written yet, but is already dancing in your mind. E vibrates with expression and freedom. You crave connection, not just with people, but with ideas, possibilities, the next horizon. People with this initial are natural communicators. You have a gift for turning thoughts into language, and language into movement. You inspire others without even trying, just by being yourself, alive and unfiltered. But there's something deeper, too. Your mind rarely stops. You're always reaching, dreaming, chasing what's next. And in that beautiful chase, you might forget to pause, to breathe, to be. Spiritually, E is aligned with the Buddhist concept of impermanence and the wisdom of being present. You are meant to move, but not to escape, to seek, but not to scatter, to explore, but also to return. As the Buddha said, you only lose what you cling to. Your gift is your adaptability, but your challenge is presence. So if your name begins with E, ask yourself, can you be still and satisfied? Can you appreciate what is, not just what could be? Can you allow yourself to land, even just for a moment? Because your magic isn't only in movement. It's in your ability to stop, to feel, to witness the beauty in this moment, exactly as it is. And when you do, you don't just inspire others. You become whole. E. The wind that forgets to rest. Emma was always moving. From the outside, she looked unstoppable, full of ideas, energy, laughter. She jumped from project to project, city to city, dream to dream. To her friends, she was the free spirit. To herself, she was running out of breath. One evening, after another long day chasing deadlines and inspiration, she sat quietly on the floor of her apartment. No noise, no emails, no goals, just silence. And for the first time in years, she noticed how tired she really was. If your name starts with the letter E, this story might feel familiar. You carry the energy of motion and expression, like wind through open skies. You're curious, vibrant, and always in search of something more. More experience, more understanding, more connection. You love the thrill of new ideas, new people, new paths. But like Emma, you might forget to land. Your gift is your adaptability. But your tendency is to overextend, to move so fast that you lose touch with where you are. And in that speed, the soul starts to whisper, "Be still." In Buddhist teachings, the letter E resonates with impermanence, the truth that nothing lasts and everything shifts. This isn't a reason to fear. It's an invitation to appreciate, to breathe into the now, to find beauty in what already is, to let go of the endless chase, and arrive. The Buddha taught, do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. So if your name begins with E, ask yourself, can you move without escaping? Can you explore without losing your center? Can you pause and feel whole, even when nothing new is happening? Because your spirit isn't just made for movement. It's made for awareness. And when you remember to stop, you become not just a breeze, but a breath of life for the world around you. L, the light that holds others together. Liam was the kind of person you called when life got hard. When his sister went through a breakup, he was there, making tea, listening for hours without judging. When his friend lost a job, Liam helped rework the resume before they even asked. At work, at home, in friendships, he was the steady one, the kind-hearted one. But late at night, when no one needed anything, he felt empty, because no one asked him how he was doing. If your name begins with the letter L, you may know this feeling well. You radiate calm, kindness, and love. People are drawn to you because your energy soothes. You see beauty in small things. You believe in harmony. You give, and give, and give. The vibration of L is deeply connected to compassion and the Buddhist concept of interdependence. The understanding that all beings are connected, and every act of kindness echoes far beyond the moment. But here's the quiet truth. You often forget yourself. You hold space for others so effortlessly, but rarely ask for space in return. You expect little, hope silently, and carry disappointment like a hidden scar when others don't show up the way you do. Spiritually, your path is one of balance. The Buddha taught that compassion without wisdom leads to burnout, and wisdom without compassion becomes cold. You, dear L, are here to learn how to hold both. To take care of others, the Dharma reminds us, you must also care for yourself. So if your name begins with L, ask yourself, are you offering from overflow or from depletion? Do you believe your worth lies in always being available? Can you be kind to yourself too? Because love isn't just what you give. It's what you allow yourself to receive. And when you do, your light doesn't dim. It simply shines from a place that's real, full, and whole. P, the pilgrim with a map. Priya planned everything. From the age of 12, she knew the kind of college she wanted to attend, the career path she'd take, even the city she hoped to retire in. She kept color-coded journals, vision boards, to-do lists taped on the fridge. And truth be told, most of it worked. She achieved a lot. But when life threw her a curveball, an unexpected breakup, a job layoff, she didn't just feel pain. She felt lost. Because when the plan falls apart, what happens to the planner? If your name begins with the letter P, there's a quiet discipline within you, an inner compass always pointing toward purpose. You are thoughtful, deliberate, precise. You don't wander, you pursue. You don't guess, you analyze. And that's your strength. In Buddhist wisdom, the energy of P resonates with the practice of mindfulness and the path of purposeful living. You are not meant to drift. You are meant to move with intention. But intention must breathe. Your biggest challenge is letting go of control, especially when life doesn't follow the map you made. You may fear failure more than most. You might resist spontaneity or ambiguity. And yet, as the Buddha taught, you cannot travel the path until you have become the path itself. True wisdom isn't just planning the journey. It's being fully present at each step, even the ones you didn't expect. So if your name begins with P, ask yourself, are you planning life or participating in it? Can you surrender to mystery, even when it interrupts your goals? Can you hold purpose in one hand and acceptance in the other? Because your gift isn't just vision. It's the ability to walk with depth, with clarity, and with humility, even when the way forward looks different from what you imagined. V. The mountain that wants to fly. Victor had always been known as the strong one. From school to adulthood, he handled pressure like a pro. He rose through challenges like a climber on a mission. Focused, resilient, always moving higher. Setbacks didn't break him. They sharpened him. But what no one saw was how lonely that summit could feel. Because when you're always climbing, always winning, who teaches you how to rest? If your name begins with the letter V, you carry the energy of victory and transformation. You are built to overcome, to rise. You face life head-on, fueled by a willpower that others admire, and sometimes fear. You are often seen as a leader, a motivator, a rock. But rocks, too, can crack from silent pressure. In Buddhist teachings, the vibration of V is connected to karmic cycles. The soul's journey through trials meant not to punish, but to purify. You are not here just to win. You are here to transcend, to grow through hardship, not just push through it. And that means learning the wisdom of patience. Just as a mountain stands still through storms, says the Dharma, so too must we find peace amid effort. Your biggest challenge? Letting go of the idea that every obstacle must be defeated immediately. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every delay is failure. Sometimes the most courageous act is to pause. So if your name begins with V, ask yourself, are you climbing for truth or for validation? Do you allow softness to exist beside your strength? Can you trust that stillness, too, is part of the journey? Because your power isn't just in how far you go. It's in how deeply you transform along the way. You are the mountain. But even mountains are shaped by wind, by time, by surrender. G. The mind that never stops asking. Gabriel was brilliant. He read everything. Philosophy, science, psychology. He could talk for hours about quantum physics or ancient civilizations. People admired his insights, his ideas, the way his mind lit up a room. But when he was alone, something strange happened. His thoughts wouldn't stop. At 2 a.m., he'd still be wide awake, analyzing conversations, questioning decisions, planning, overthinking. His intellect had become a labyrinth, and he wasn't sure how to get out. If your name begins with the letter G, your soul is wired for growth and vision. You are curious by nature, always seeking, always expanding. You look at the world not just as it is, but as it could be. Your gift is clarity, analysis, the ability to connect ideas in ways others can't. You are the architect of new paradigms, the questioner of norms, the lifelong learner. But even the sharpest mind needs stillness. In Buddhist wisdom, G resonates with the journey of wisdom and enlightenment. Not the kind of knowledge that fills books, but the kind that empties the mind. The kind that teaches you to sit, to listen, to simply be. Because true clarity doesn't come from thinking harder. It comes from seeing clearly. As the Buddha said, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. Your greatest challenge is not in learning more, but in learning to stop seeking for a moment, and trust what's already known. So if your name begins with G, ask yourself, are you using knowledge to grow, or to protect yourself from uncertainty? Can you let go of needing answers, and be at peace with mystery? Can you turn the light of awareness inward, and rest in presence? Because your mind is powerful, but your heart is wise. And when you align the two, thinking with feeling, learning with living, you don't just expand the world, you illuminate it. Z, the one who knows when to let go. Zara had seen more endings than most. A marriage that didn't work out. A business she had to walk away from. Friendships that quietly faded. To outsiders, she looked detached, maybe even cold. But if they listened closely, they'd hear it. The silence of someone who had learned to release. She didn't cling. She didn't chase. She didn't dramatize the closing of doors. Because she had discovered something rare. Not everything broken needs to be fixed. If your name begins with the letter Z, you carry the energy of completion and transformation. You have an almost uncanny ability to see the big picture, to know when something has run its course. You're wise, grounded, deep. In personality, Zs tend to be intuitive and calm under pressure. You don't waste time on the superficial. You move through life like a seasoned traveler, light, observant, prepared to start over when needed. But here's the catch. That strength can sometimes harden into distance. You may become so good at letting go that you forget how to let in. Spiritually, the letter Z connects to the Buddhist truth of impermanence. The realization that all things arise, change, and pass away. You're here not to hold, but to understand. Not to resist endings, but to honor them. As the Buddha taught, to understand everything is to forgive everything. Your challenge. To stay open, even as you detach. To remain present, even as you move forward. To let wisdom soften you, not isolate you. So if your name begins with Z, ask yourself, are you avoiding pain by avoiding connection? Can you allow yourself to care deeply, even when you know it won't last? Can you see endings not as failures, but as sacred transitions? Because your soul doesn't fear the closing of doors. It knows that every ending is already the beginning of something new. B. The heart that holds too much. Bella was everyone's safe place. She remembered birthdays no one else did. She stayed up late consoling friends after breakups. She made soup when someone was sick, even if she was tired. People said she had a big heart. But what they didn't know was how often that heart hurt. Not because others were cruel, but because she rarely gave herself what she so freely gave away. If your name begins with the letter B, you carry the energy of nurturing and compassion. You are naturally gentle, kind, and emotionally tuned in. You don't just care. You feel what others feel. In Buddhist thought, this deep empathy is a sacred gift. The letter B resonates with interconnectedness. The idea that the well-being of one is linked to the well-being of all. You are often the healer, the peacemaker, the one who senses pain in a room before it's spoken. But here's what you may forget. Compassion without boundaries becomes self-sacrifice. And self-sacrifice without balance becomes self-erasure. The Buddha taught, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. Spiritually, your challenge is learning that you are not selfish for setting limits. In fact, boundaries are what make your kindness sustainable. Without them, you give from emptiness, instead of overflow. So if your name begins with B, ask yourself, are you pouring from a full cup, or just hoping no one notices it's empty? Do you say yes because you want to, or because you're afraid to disappoint? Can you believe that your needs matter just as much as anyone else's? Because your ability to care is extraordinary. But your healing begins the moment you turn that care inward. Not to close your heart, but to make it whole. Closing. The letter is only the beginning. By now, you've seen that the first letter of your name is more than just a character. It's a mirror, a vibration, a quiet invitation to know yourself more deeply. From the intensity of R to the introspection of S. From the fire of A to the steady compassion of B. Each letter carries a unique energy, both a gift and a lesson. These aren't just personality types. They are reflections of your spiritual path, your karmic patterns, your dharma, the way you are meant to walk through this life. And the beauty is, this journey is far from over. In the next video, we'll explore the rest of the alphabet, each letter holding its own mystery, wisdom, and guidance. Maybe yours hasn't come up yet. Or maybe someone you love carries a letter you now understand a little more deeply. So I invite you, stay curious, stay open, stay on the path. If this video helped you see yourself or others in a new light, please like it, share it, or leave a comment with the letter that resonated most. And don't forget to subscribe, because the second part of this reflection may hold the very insight your soul has been waiting for. I'll see you there.